This is FYI, a public affairs program of Strong Tower Christian Media on 93.7 The Light and Hope 100.7.
And hi, I'm JT. Welcome to FYI. This is the program where we talk with interesting people about fascinating projects around Ohio. And today we are honored to be talking with Congressman Warren Davidson, representing the 8th District of Ohio. Congressman Davidson, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for talking with me today, JT.
Well, it's our honor. Thank you very much. I understand you've been out at the fair this week, just recently visiting Miami County Fair. That's got to be fun.
Yeah, the county fair is always a big deal. Miami County is my home county, and I've lived here for 23 years, ever since I got out of the Army. But Congress has got August recess going on right now, and frankly, all over most of the country anyway, certainly the rural parts, county fairs are a big deal. And it's just nice to be home, able to talk to people in the district rather than being in DC.
Yeah. Now, you have recently been very busy, though. I'm going to kind of catch up with a few things, and you can set me straight where I'm wrong. But I understand that you have been working hard on the Fourth Amendment Not for Sale Act. You're trying to protect our information. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, that's an important. So the Fourth Amendment protects the right to privacy. Of course, our Constitution doesn't grant us rights or permissions. Our Constitution prevents the government from infringing on them, because the default setting is our rights are given to us by God. We are endowed by our Creator. They famously said in the Declaration of Independence. And so the Fourth Amendment's the one that says we have a reasonable expectation of privacy. And what we've found is the FBI and Department of Defense and other agencies have been buying data that they would never be able to get approved warrants or subpoenas for. So, this bill that just passed through the House Judiciary Committee would prevent the federal government from buying data that they would otherwise have to get a warrant or subpoena for. So it would do a lot to really protect privacy from unreasonable searches or seizures.
Yeah, interesting. Now, I'm just going to move down the list because you have been busy. You also have been busy. I didn't know much about this one, but the EVAC Act, trying to help folks who spent a lot of money and sometimes all of their savings to help folks out of Afghanistan.
Yeah. So, go back to when America was withdrawing from Afghanistan, regardless of how we decided to get out or whose fault it was that we got out or any of that, you don't have to have served in the military to know that first you get the civilians out and then you get the military out. Unfortunately, the Biden administration did it the other way around, and the military pulled out and we left civilians behind. They were literally counting on the Taliban to let, our people leave. And in some cases we had, blue passport holding American citizens trapped behind lines. And in many cases we had, what are known as SIV, special immigrant visa holders, people that were interpreters. They risked their lives and their families' lives to try to help us while we were there. And we had committed to get them out. And unfortunately, some of them were left behind, and very sadly, some of them died. So we had American citizens who really covered America's moral failure there. Our government was responsible for getting everyone out. You had citizens say, hey, this guy saved my life. His family's trapped. I want to do everything I can to get him out. People were cashing out their retirement savings and 401ks and all kinds of things to be able to do it. And frankly, some very wealthy, very generous people gave money too. But we had a hearing where these guys told their story. And it was just, something that came out of that hearing is like, wow, we should actually pay these people back. It was really something that the government should have already funded. They shouldn't have had to spend their own money to cover what the government was really responsible for doing.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Now, moving right on down, I also understand you authored Middle Class Borrower Protection Act. Thank you for this one. This sounds interesting. Kind of a way to slip a little socialism into this. Educate us about how this worked.
Yeah, the Biden administration found that socialism isn't as popular, so they started remarketing it as equity. And equity is what you have in your house, not the what you hope to have in it anyway. But this is the redistribution part. There were two parts to this. So prior to May, if you had good credit, you'd go in and you would rationally expect that you'd get a better interest rate than someone who had bad credit. And that's still true. You still get a better interest rate. But on May 1st, the Biden administration put in a rule that says, well, you're going to get a little less of a advantage for having good credit, because they'll take some of the benefit that would go to you and give it to somebody who has bad credit. It's a redistribution scheme. And frankly, it's not even wealth, because there are poor people that have good credit. They pay their bills on time. They live within their means. They scrape things by, and they wind up with good credit. And there are people that have plenty of money that are just pretty irresponsible, pay late, avoid things. And they wind up with bad credit scores, even though they're able to pay. They don't do the responsible thing, and they wind up with bad credit. So this is a really wrong-headed idea. And we're trying to get it reversed. We passed it through the House. We haven't been able to get Sheriff Brown to take it up in the Senate. But do it. We did get them to concede to withdraw, which is supposed to take August 1st. Okay. This is true. If you're wealthy and you have high income and very little debt, then you could pay extra for your mortgage so that somebody who had already could get a better rate. So we at least stopped that with this bill that we started working through committee. But there's work left to be done.
Yeah. Now I'm going down the list here. A Lower Energy Costs Act. I don't know much about that one. What happened there?
So that was HR 1. America had some pretty good pro-energy policies. Joe Biden campaigned on making our policies worse, and he has delivered on that, and fundamentally implemented part of the Green New Deal, and not as much of it as they wanted to implement, but this would get permitting back on track and make America more energy independent again, frankly, undo a lot of the bad Biden policies, and frankly, make some real progress on permitting reform for environmental approval process on American energy projects.
I see you also have been working on a Secure the Border Act. That continues to be a challenge on the southern border. What's the latest? What's going on there?
Yeah, so this is something that we failed to do when Republicans had the House and the Senate, and Donald Trump had famously campaigned on this. We wanted to secure the border, but not all the party really followed through and did it. So we couldn't get it all the way through even the House. We couldn't get it through the Senate. And of course, President Trump wanted to sign some of these reforms. We got 193 votes, which to pass something in the House, you need 218. And so this Congress, we came together with a much smaller majority. Back then we had a 24-seat majority. Now we had only a 4-seat majority, and we came together and passed this HR 2. And it would really go further than even what was known as the Goodlatte bill back in 2018 went, to securing our border. And it was a really big win. We're frankly trying to keep that tied to our spending deal, because we know we can't stay on the path that the Biden administration is on. I mean, even Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, even in Massachusetts, even in Chicago, they're saying it's a state of emergency. They can't deal with all the people that are coming to their states. I mean, that's a fraction of what's coming to states like Texas or Arizona. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Now, I don't mean to ask a trick question, but how much is Ohio affected in that? I mean, do we have many coming to Ohio? I don't hear about a lot of them, or at least not large numbers of folks coming from the border to Ohio. Does it happen around Ohio also?
Yeah, we do have people that come. And frankly, the big problem is that we have other things that come in. So,
yeah, good point.
People business at the border. Just the people business at the border. The New York Times reported that under the Biden administration, it went from $500 million a year that the cartels were making for smuggling people across the border to over $13 billion a year. So that's a 26-time increase in the amount of money the cartels were making off smuggling people. But they also do a lot of drugs. They control the drug market in the United States. And sadly, Ohio has been more affected by drugs than a lot of other states. These drugs are bad in the first place, but now they're laced with fentanyl. and fentanyl is killing tens of thousands of Americans. And so the bill that I've got on this, hopefully we'll vote on here in the fall. It's called the Lizzie Murphy Act to stop the cartels. After a 21-year-old girl from our district who took a Xanax at a party. Not a good idea, not something you should do, but it's not supposed to kill you. It was laced with fentanyl and she died. She took one pill at a party and died. And I think hopefully we can at least agree to stop the cartels. I mean, we're going to keep fighting about border security versus immigration reform. And I don't know that there's a path through the Senate on those debates as much as I wish there was, and hope there will be soon. But in the meantime, I hope we can at least agree to stop the cartels.
Yeah, good point. Moving right down the list. Now, I'm not familiar with the termination different. It's HJ resolution. What's that mean? Is that a HJ7?
It's like a sense of Congress. It's yeah.
Okay. Ending the COVID-19
joint resolution 7. You'll have to refresh my memory.
That's the ending
the emergency. This is one of the first things that we passed. Yeah, so it took a Republican majority in the House to end an emergency situation. I mean, Joe Biden had used emergency powers to come up with an excuse to keep people from being evicted from their homes, for example, or to keep people from having to pay their student loans back, or, think of all the things that were done in the names of the COVID emergency, including firing people from the military, firing healthcare workers all over the country. And so we campaigned on ending that, and Republicans passed it. And thankfully the Senate got on board too. And Joe Biden ultimately signed it. So the emergency ended in May.
Excellent. Hey, and I see you're working to censor Adam Schiff. That is a resolution.
Yeah, a colleague from Florida, Ana Paulina Luna, new member of Congress, and she tried the first time on one that fined him $16 million. We didn't really have hearings or debates about that number, but it was half of the cost of the Mueller investigation. But Adam Schiff told a lot of lies about Russia collusion and all sorts of other things. And the Democrats were in the majority, and he would come out of classified hearings where you can't talk about exactly what you heard in the classified hearing, but he'd say, well, I can't say what did all these things. So he used his position to really deceive people. And so it was great that we were able to get a resolution that without the fine, which violates the Constitution, frankly, but did censure Adam Schiff, and we got that across the finish line. But thanks to Ana Paulina Luna for introducing it.
Yeah, nice. We're down to just a couple moments left. I'd like to ask, if you don't mind, about the Ohio special election that happened the other day. Any thoughts on it failing as a no?
Well, it's disappointing. I mean, frankly, Joe Biden won 7 counties in Ohio, and this ballot initiative failed in 22 counties. So that would normally be a Republican-Democrat split. But there were a lot of people who didn't understand the issue very well. And frankly, there were some Republicans who said, well, I just like the idea that we could vote more often. And, I think these are some of the things that will come up when I'm doing a town hall in the district on Tuesday, August 15th at 6:30. Really, doors open at 6, but we're going to do a town hall in person. We've done a lot of telephone town halls over the COVID era. And usually people would invite us out to do events at their place. And that still happens, but maybe not at the same rate that everybody would like nowadays. So we're going to host our own event. It's going to be at the Miami University Middletown campus. And hopefully we can get everybody to come out and see it. People can register online at davidson.house.gov.
That is this Tuesday, and it's at Miami University. Yes. So hope to be there.
The Middletown campus of Miami. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Thank you. We are out of time. Congressman Davidson, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it and look forward to seeing you Tuesday. So,
yeah, likewise. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it, JT. God bless you and your listeners.
Thank you. You too.
This is FYI, a public affairs program of Strong Tower Christian Media on 93.7 The Light and Hope 100.7.